Public choice theory addresses this key question. How does the democratic process lead to collective economic choices? This area of microeconomics is important because it helps explain how the principles of economics are applied in the real world of government policy making, often well, but sometimes very poorly. And in this last module, we are going to take a quick spin around the public choice block, starting with a look at one very interesting model of voting behavior based on microeconomic insights, the median voter model. The median voter model is one of my favorite key concepts in all of public choice theory. This is because this model helps explain why, in two-party political systems, such as exist in democracies like the United States and Great Britain, the winning candidates will typically represent the political center rather than the right-wing or left-wing extremes. To understand the median voter model, we should first define the words median voter. This is the person holding the exact middle position on any issue. To illustrate, consider this figure that depicts the preference of the median voter, B sub M, on the size of the national budget. Note that exactly half of the population to the left of this voter prefers a smaller budget, and the smaller the preferred budget, the more conservative or right-wing the position is considered to be. Note also that exactly half of the population to the right prefers a larger budget. With the larger the budget, the more liberal or left-wing the position is considered to be. Suppose now there are two candidates running for Prime Minister in Great Britain, a Conservative Party candidate and a Labour Party Liberal candidate. And suppose further that the Labour Party candidate initially takes a left-wing position represented by B sub L for a budget that is actually much larger than the median voter's preference. So what is the best position for the Conservative Party candidate to take to win the election? Let's pause now as you frame your answer. Well, assuming the size of the budget is the defining issue of the campaign, all the Conservative candidate needs to do to win is to take a position somewhere between the median voter and the Labour Party candidate's position, such as B sub C. At B sub C, the Conservative candidate would attract those 50% of the voters to the left of the median voter, plus the voters represented by B sub C minus B sub M. And if the Conservative were to take such a position, the Liberal would lose the election in a landslide. Of course, the Labour Party candidate's pollsters may be smart enough to figure out that their candidate has been outflanked during the campaign, and thereby advise their candidate to leapfrog the Conservative's position by moving to B prime sub L. You can see, of course, that the Conservative might then move to B prime sub C, and so it will go until both candidates effectively hug the median voter position. And from this example, it should be obvious how a primarily two major party system, such as the ones in Great Britain and the United States, move political outcomes to the political center. More broadly, it is for this reason that we often observe political candidates taking very similar positions, essentially becoming what one political wag in America once called, in an homage to Alice in Wonderland, Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Of course, there are a number of other interesting voter behavior models in public choice that you may encounter if you take additional courses in either economics or political science. For example, public choice theory explains the process of log rolling in politics. This involves the well-known practice of reciprocal vote trading among politicians for each other's proposed legislation. For example, a dovish American congressman might vote for an increase in the defense budget in exchange for a promise from a hawkish American congressman to approve a new public works project in the Dove's home district. The broader point of delving into this public choice area is to reinforce one of the broad themes of this course. Here, as I have said before, and it is well worth repeating, when you are in business, the laws, regulations, rules, and taxes of government can often do more harm to your business than any 10 competitors. And that's why it is particularly important to understand government policy from an economics and public choice point of view. For example, your company may face a regulation or a tax that microeconomic analysis may reveal to be totally inefficient and counterproductive. Armed with that analysis, it will be much easier for your firm and lobbying team to argue against the proposed regulation or tax on public interest grounds, rather than just opposing the policy change because it might hurt your company's bottom line. Of course, in other cases, the proposed new policy may be totally justified on economic grounds. For example, a tax hike may be necessary to pay for new roads so your business can transport its products faster. In such a case, your firm may find it more beneficial to work with the government to implement the tax in the fairest possible way. At any rate, I hope you've enjoyed this course in the power of microeconomics. I've tried, over the course of our 10 lessons together, to wed economic theory with actual real-world and business examples and applications. And I've tried to do that to help you better understand that a solid understanding of economics is critical to both your professional and personal futures. I also hope that if you haven't yet taken the course yet, you will join me in the companion course to this series, The Power of Macroeconomics. This course will move us from the micro world of individual markets to the big, quite literally macro questions related to jobs, growth, inflation, and trade in the global economy. And in addressing those big questions, I will offer you some very important insights about how to strategically manage a business or an enterprise over the course of the ups and downs of the business cycle. So with that, I will sign off here. And I hope to see you again soon in the power of macroeconomics. I'm Peter Navarro from the Mirage School of Business at the University of California, Irvine.